What is up, fight fans? It is 6 o'clock in the Mile High, so you know what that means. It is time for the MMA Plug, presented to you by DenverSportsBetting.com. Inside of the Grand Z Casino, you can find us here on 98.1 FM Mile High Sports Radio. I'm your host, Jordan Kurtz, sitting here alongside my man, Josh Fremd. Ladies and gentlemen, last week on this program, we left you with the cliffhanger that our boy was on a meal ticket mission last weekend fighting for an opportunity at a UFC contract out at FAC 12 in front of Dana White and the boys with all eyes on him. Right there in front of the biggest show or the biggest crowd that Kansas City MMA has ever seen. Well, folks, the Big Yinz, he came, he saw, he conquered. Our co-host of this program, Josh Fremd, is the newest middleweight on the UFC roster. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's awesome. You know, it was an experience that I got to share with you, my co-host. You came out. We did our thing, man. We did our thing, and we got it done. And it's a fun experience, and I'm so happy that I got to have you alongside with it.
Oh, man. The feeling was indescribable from my side of things up there in the press box at the Cable Dahmer Arena. But I can only imagine just the feeling, the adrenaline rush that you had. I mean, it was a tough opponent that you had to go in there and face. It was a short notice situation. It was a lot of pressure. Let's be real with it, whether you want to acknowledge it on the external level or not, like when you're there. But it exists. You know what I mean? Like there was a lot riding on that opportunity.
Yeah, and I'm the realest one you're ever going to talk to, and I'm straight up going to tell you I was scared. If you're not scared, then you don't really feel it, then I don't think that you really want it. So to be able to go out there and get it done under that kind of pressure, you know, I learned a lot about myself. So that was a cool experience as well.
What I also found extremely fascinating about the entire process was last week after we walked out of the studio off air, me and Josh were just kind of talking about, you know, the matchup and about how things were potentially going to go. And he said, watch, I'm going to submit this guy.
And that was funny that I said that because I was really, you know, just talking out of thin air, just like, you know, people think I'm going to go out here and knock this guy out. What if I go home? What if I take him down? You know, and just a little fun fact, I've always thought this. Every single time I would lose a wrestling match in high school, I would be like, man, if I could hit you, I'd probably beat you. Well, that's usually how my takedowns go. I'm going to hit you. I made this joke with Zach Cummings because he's the same way. We punch them really hard until they're wobbled, take them down, then submit them.
Yep. That's a perfect analysis or perfect comparison right there, because that's a lot of what Zach's entire, you know, if you look up and down his rap sheet, that's how a fair amount of the submissions have came. Is he just has someone just completely on Wobble Street. I mean, almost like the same situation like Coach Mark joked about it the other night. He was like, I mean, he took down a corpse. Like, you know, that right hand, that two that you hit Joel with was, I mean, that was whatever you did to follow up after that point, like that was the setup for the finish. It was inevitable at that point. You know, when you hit someone that hard, that clean, and on the button, he just didn't fall down from it. That's the only thing.
Yeah, and I think if I would have like gave him a little bit of time, he might have fell on his own. But if I could have, you know, done that in the first round and not made everyone so nervous, that would have been cool. I don't know what I was doing in the first round, throwing something not technically sound, but got it figured out in the second round, so that was good.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you know, I am so proud of you for seeing the work that you put in, you know, ever since you came out here from Pittsburgh. You know, we've been friends and have just grown in so many different ways in our own respects, and then also together as a brand and as entertainers, hosts, providers for the MMA community in that way, and just seeing the growth from you by leaps and bounds. It's just it's amazing to see, and it was cool to be a little part of your success this last weekend, and just to be along for the ride was awesome.
People, don't let this man tell you a little bit of success, because another fun fact, Jordan called me one night before I accepted this matchup and like encouraged me to the max. So you're a real one, and I thank you for that.
Absolutely, you know, it's it takes one to see one in that way. I guess that's what the people out there say. At least that's what the cool kids are talking about.
That's what the cool kids are saying.
Yep, 100%. To get into the remainder of the opening rundown, First off, we want to give a shout out to Impact Mouthguards. Go to www.impactmouthguards.com. Take a look at the full product rundown, everything from powerlifting guards to night guards to combat sports mouthpieces, especially if you're going to be going in there and taking a couple of shots to wake up before you get going. You might need to have that mouth and that hardware protected a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Gotta have it always.
So why don't you go to www.impactmouthguards.com, hit that promo code Peanut Gallery, and you will be all taken care of on the back half.